We are reaching you from Voice of Nigeria in Abuja. You can join us through www.von.gov.ng. You can also join us through Simple Radio, Radio Garden, and TuneIn Radio. We are live on Voice of Nigeria, Facebook, and other platforms. Today, we have a special guest in Voice of Nigeria in the news program. I remain Ali Othman, your uncle. Today, we have Professor Ibrahim Adeyanju, a professor of computer engineering. He had also his master's degree in computing, information engineering, and doctoral degree in computing with a such interest in intelligent systems and microprocessor control, embedded system with several peer-reviewed journals and articles to his credit. Professor Adeyanju has proficiency in artificial intelligence, machine learning, data mining, genetic algorithm, and many others. Professor Adeyanju, who is the managing director of Galaxy Backbone in Nigeria, is a fellow of the EPSCR, Engineering and Physical Sciences Research Council in the United Kingdom, and a research computer engineer with Koren in Nigeria. Professor Adeyanju, welcome to Voice of Nigeria.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Well, the world is very different from the one many of us who were born in the 50s, 60s to 70s, lived in or know about. This is because of the advent of the internet, www, and its abilities to link up to the world. The sector that the internet has impacted and continue to impact as technology advances is the media around the world. Okay. Some have gone so far as to say that the internet has completely changed the media landscape from all the ends of the pole, and the platforms, the tools, and the equipment, as well as how we access, consumed, and deploy media contents around the world. Can Nigeria meet the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals on sustainable access and inclusivity for all on internet use? We'll come to all these details. In Nigeria today, is Nigeria ready for the future of work that allows for remote and visual connectivity for increased productivity to meet up with international expectations and globalization? These are some of the issues that we will be discussing today on In the News with our special guest, Professor Ibrahim Adeyanju, the Managing Director of Galaxy Backbone, the agency responsible for ensuring national connectivity in Nigeria. Professor Adeyanju, once more welcome to Voice of Nigeria.
Thank you, Voice of Nigeria.
Then Galaxy Backbone is, as its name implies, the connectivity backbone of Nigeria. What has been your impression of its strategic role since your assumption of office in February this year as the Managing Director?
Thank you, Malam Aliyu, for the introduction. Thank you, Voice of Nigeria, for this opportunity. Now, Galaxy Backbone, as the name implies, is a digital backbone for the federal government of Nigeria. What I met on ground was really amazing. We're talking of infrastructure that cuts across at least 30 states of the Federation. And we're talking of infrastructure that can actually change the digital landscape within Nigeria. Currently, Galaxy Backbone manages over 5,000 kilometers of backbone fiber cutting across 30 states. And within Abuja, we have over 1,000 kilometers of fiber as well for metro fiber. And if you understand what fiber means, in terms of connectivity, currently the fiber connection is the fastest broadband connection you can ever have, with speed up to 1 gigabyte per second. And that's faster than any other wireless you can actually think of. So for the government to invest so much in that, I think it's a government that is thinking of the future, but not now. So I would say my impression has been amazing. And like one of my executive directors would say, that the Galaxy Backbone is one of the best known, best kept secrets of Nigeria, because of the kind of infrastructure that we have.
Then how did these successes align with the organization's key mandate to provide cutting-edge IT solutions and services to Nigerian government institutions, MDS, and the private sector in Nigeria?
Yes. So talking about the mandate of Galaxy Backbone, our mandate is to provide connectivity, but not just connectivity, to provide ICT services to ministries, departments, and agencies within the federal government. the infrastructure we have been given it's really massive. The foundation is the internet, to say connecting high-speed internet that allows different government agencies to connect to each other and to connect to the citizens to provide services to them. But building on that, there are several other services, and that's we could talk about services like data center services. Today, we talk about the World Wide Web. The World Wide Web has to be kept somewhere, and where it is kept is what we know as the data center. Basically, data center allows you to keep a lot of data that are exchanged on the internet, and we have two of such data centers that are managed by Galaxy Backbone currently. So, in terms
Where
of
are they based? Are they within Abuja? You made reference to before you came in. It is
Yes.
only Abuja and few states that were connected through the GBB operations.
yes, so the truth is, before we came in February, we had infrastructure across close to 27 states. We recently moved from through Kwara to Oyo, that's through Ogbomoso, Oyo, and then to Ibadan and Lagos. So currently we have our fiber in Lagos as well. So we had three, between February and now, we added three states, Kwara, Oyo, and Lagos to the network. You're talking about so in terms of infrastructure, we have that big backbone that covers quite a number of states and allows the federal government's MDAs to connect with each other and be able to use services that they were not able to use previously.
For any meaningful internet access to be sustainable, the one thing that everyone worries about is security, securing the access against any attack and other things. How do you plan to protect data on the World Wide Web, especially to be able to guarantee the confidence on Galaxy Backbone operations?
Yes, thank you so much. Security or cyber security is very important. When we talk of security, we talk of physical security and we talk of cyber security. In terms of cyber security, Galaxy is proud to have a state-of-the-art cyber security operations center. It's an operations center that allows us to efficiently secure government data that is in our data centers. We have a variety of tools that are available within our SOC, we call it SOC, Security Operations Center, to protect the data that we actually manage on behalf of government. In addition to that, we also do a lot of capacity training for our staff and for the staff of MDAs to caution them in terms of techniques in which you have trespassers or you have hackers that they use that to get their data. It's because there's a bit of understanding in terms of having that basic knowledge of what is required of you as a user to be secured properly online. So in terms of not giving out unnecessary details, in terms of avoiding phishing attacks, in terms of avoiding other attacks like spam in the email and so on and so forth. So we do regular training of our staff. We have a lot of tools, variety of tools that we subscribe to ensure that government data is properly secured.
Looking at energy generation, electricity is central to functional data centers across the world and especially in Nigeria. What measures have you put in place to not only secure the data centers but also to sustain your operations for the benefit of the agencies and other investors in the Galaxy Backbone operations?
Yes, thank you so much. No doubts, when you talk of digital, anything digital, it requires some form of electricity, either AC or DC. For Galaxy Backbone, because we run two data centers, the importance of electricity cannot be overemphasized. In Abuja, we have a tier 3 data center, and what that means is that we have to be available 99.97% of the time. This means that we need various sources of electricity. The first one is that we are directly connected to the national grid through AEDC, and we have some guaranteed level of supply from AEDC. But apart from AEDC, we also have generators. We have two 320 kVA generators to power our data center. We also have equivalent uninterrupted power supply, UPS, powered by batteries. And in addition to that, we're looking into renewable energy to modernize a lot of our base stations across the country to ensure that we guarantee availability.
Before your comment, there is this challenge by most of your business partners of the need to back off your operations. How are you facing that challenge?
In terms of backing up our services or having redundancy, if I understand your question, it's something that is that we do in the IT sector because of because of availability. So the understanding is that since we came on board, the first thing is that we've improved our availability, we've improved our quality of service, and for a lot of MDAs, they're actually even dropping the alternatives because we visited quite a number of MDAs that used to have that used to use Galaxy as alternative. Now they are using Galaxy as the main internet connection service rather than as alternative, showing that there's been some marked improvements in our services.
Then looking at the role of GPP and how prepared is Galaxy Backbone to face the challenges of artificial intelligence. Incidentally, you are a professional and an expert on AI and many other of these, ICT innovations.
Yes.
Every government official and the private sector are looking forward to 2025 to be a year of AI in Nigeria and around the world.
Yes.
How prepared is GBB on this?
Yes, we are making preparation. The first thing to say is that to some extent, we are AI ready based on the compute and memory that we have in our data centers. But we are looking to expand on that. I should say in line with currently the Honorable Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy actually came up with a national AI strategy, which Galaxy was a part of, and which Galaxy is actually very central to because of the nature of infrastructure that we control. And what we are saying is that we've made provisions. So currently, we empower the National Center for AI and Robotics, which is under the NITDA, the National IT Development Agency. The resources they use currently for their AI development comes directly from Galaxy. But we are not resting on our hours. We are looking at expanding our data center, not just to be AI ready, but to be able to take care of any emerging technology by working with partners. So currently, we have an MOU signed with 21st Century to bring in close to 10,000 GPUs. GPUs are more powerful than the normal processors that we have in servers. And that also ensures that we can be AI or properly AI ready in our data center and our infrastructure in general. So working not just with government or with the private sector to ensure that we are properly AI ready and can support any AI applications and software that will be required by the ministries, departments, and agencies.
The program is in the news. We are reaching you from Voice of Nigeria in Abuja. You can join us through www.von.gov.ng. You can also join us through Simple Radio, Radio Garden, and Tuning Radio. We are live on Facebook. I've been speaking with Professor Ibrahim Adeyanju, Professor of Computer Engineering and the Managing Director of Galaxy Backbone Limited in Nigeria, the major connector with most of the government and private sector, agencies and businesses in Nigeria in terms of providing connectivity in Nigeria. We are going to discuss more of the impact. Is Galaxy Backbone limited to only Nigeria, or is expanding its scope to West Africa or the African continent or countries? We will talk about that. I am Ali Othman. You can listen to this edition of In the News on Voice of Nigeria through www.von.gov.ng. You can also listen to Voice of Nigeria on Simple Radio, Radio Garden, and Tuning Radio. Professor Adeyanju, looking at Nigeria and its preparation towards 2025 in terms of the operations of Galaxy Backbone, where is Galaxy Backbone?
In terms of Nigeria and meeting up with the SDGs, I think, to be sincere, the government has invested a lot in digital infrastructure. What we are trying to do as a management now is to ensure proper utilization of that infrastructure. With what we have currently, of course, we still need to do more, but we've had as Galaxy Backbone interaction with the regions. Usually, what I tell people about about Galaxy Backbone or the backbone is like you have a highway. The federal government has done a lot in building a trunk A highway, but the federal government on its own cannot build all the trunk B and trunk C roads, and that's where we need the states and the local government to come in and support the federal government to ensure that the fiber connection is not limited to the interstates, but gets to the nooks and crannies of all parts of Nigeria. And that's what we've been propagating at Galaxy Backbone, trying to work with the governors, trying to work with the local government to ensure that they can tap into that backbone to ensure that residents of the various states and local governments can enjoy this fast, high-speed internet.
Where have you been? You have told us that you visited some states to be able to expand the understanding operations of Galaxy Backbone.
Yes.
What is the response from the states? Especially if you look at this issue of, you have spoken about it, issue of party differences, politics has ended, we are now into governance in Nigeria.
Yes, in truth, I would say a lot of the governors we've met have been very supportive. Currently, we had an MOU with the government of Bauchi, and that's a PDP state. They welcomed us. We interacted. We looked at collaboration to ensure that citizens and indigenes or residents of Bauchi can also enjoy high-speed internet. We've also been to Zamfara. We've had visitations from the governor of Plateau State to Galaxy Backbone, even the governor of Zamfara. And then we have the visitation from the governor of Benue State as well. So we've quite, I think within February and now, we've had at least 6 governors visiting Galaxy Backbone, and we have an understanding to collaborate. We're also in Adamawa, because we have our fiber in Adamawa, and we've been talking to the governor to say, okay, let's use this, let's collaborate together to ensure that your residents or citizens can benefit from this high-speed internet. So I would say, yes, so far so good. The interaction has been quite encouraging, and we're hoping we'll do more in 2025.
Looking at funding, the main partners are ministries, department, agencies, and some private sectors. Now you are engaging the state governments to be able to key into the need to, assess the services of Galaxy Backbone.
Yes.
What do you think can be done? There are agencies in Nigeria that assess certain percentage from the consolidated revenue account to be able to fund certain project. Is Galaxy Backbone thinking about that, despite the fact that it's a private, concern?
I think the truth is we have some level of funding for the ICT services we provide to governments. We've also, because we're a limited liability company, a government-owned limited liability company, we are also looking at businesses that or partners that would work with to propagate some of the mandate that we have. So, for example, we currently had a business agreement with WIOC. WIOC, it's also looking at extending fiber connection to underserved and unserved areas. So what they're doing is working with Galaxy, using the Galaxy backbone, and then they would extend that based on their agreement with states. But the other thing I must mention is, which we've been also be requesting from a lot of states, is to either reduce or even eradicate this right-of-way charges, because it's one of the challenges we're having in terms of fiber or broadband and penetration within Nigeria. So I would say so far so good, and we're working with partners to overcome the funding challenges by working with international partners and local partners that can help to increase the broadband penetration.
Then what type of measures do you think MDS should have in place ahead of the domestication of the AI policy, artificial intelligence policy in Nigeria?
Yes, the truth is, yes, AI, either we like it or not, has come to stay. And in terms of the policies, I think the first thing would be building capacity of staff to understand the do's and don'ts of AI, to ensure that they're using, because like I was reading an article today, and they were talking of the good or the bad or the evil in AI. And for every technology that comes, the individual or the company or the group would have to decide whether they want to use it for good or for bad. And for AI, there's a lot of good in it, but there needs to be a lot of training in terms of how to maximize. Because AI is actually a productivity tool, depending on what we are looking at. It can enhance productivity of civil servants. It can help in a lot of automation. It can help in a lot of analysis to ensure that government gives value to the people.
Then looking at the key performance indicators of Galaxy Backbone in 2024, how do you rate the organization, not yourself, as the managing director?
2024 has been an interesting year. It's a year. It's been a challenging year, to be sincere, because of economic indices. Economic indices in terms of inflation, economic indices in terms of the forex exchange. For Galaxy Backbone, we've tried our best. We've been able to improve our quality of service. We've been able to improve in terms of training of our staff as well. We've been able to ensure that our mandates, we are fulfilling our mandates to ministries, departments, and agencies. And I would say our score is very high, despite the challenges. No doubt we had one or two challenges, but we're hoping 2025 will be better, much better. So I'll score my staff and the entire Galaxy Backbone high, and I'll say kudos to them for surviving despite the challenges.
Yeah, congratulations. But let's see, what are the key objectives and strategies of Galaxy Backbone in 2025 strategic plan in terms of, if you look at how it contributes to the organization's mission to enable digital transformation.
Yes.
You mentioned something.
Yes, the good thing is, in 2025, we are coming up with a new strategy. We call it the IDTS. It's the Integrated Digital Transformation Strategy. It's a strategy that's going to span 3 to 4 years. So it's 2025 to 2028 strategy, and it has pillars across. It has 5 pillars. We talk about a resilient infrastructure. We talk about innovation. We talk about customer service, and we talk about financial sustainability, among others. And what we have currently, I think we'd have a proper launching of that strategic plan once it's something that's in pipeline, and to ensure that the understanding is the Galaxy has a dual role in the economy. We run as a business, but we also must support government digital transformation in terms of digital inclusivity, in terms of broadband penetration, and that's what the strategic plan will do, to ensure that we have the aspect that deals with government initiative and development initiative, as well as our business plans, to ensure that we can enable private businesses to perform better in 2025.
Now looking at the National Digital Economy Policy Strategy Paper 2020-2023, which I believe your own strategy is keyed into that plan, and is even expected to achieve its target before 2030. How is Galaxy Backbone, seeing that plan strategy, helping it to achieve its set objectives?
So yes, the plan is very important. Our strategy actually builds on that particular the NDEP between 2020 and 2030. The other thing we actually align with is the strategy of our Honorable Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, who has also a strategic plan for the ministry. And I would say, yes, we're working towards achieving what has been in the plan for 2030 and even maybe before. So at Galaxy Backbone, we have the infrastructure to support that. But like I said, the federal government cannot do it alone without the support of the regions, the states, and the local governments supporting that plan to make it a reality. Because if you're just Abuja, the federal government has a lot of control within Abuja. But when you're doing some of these things within states, then you require the buy-in of the governors and local government chairmen.
Then looking at Galaxy Backbone collaboration with private sector, you made mention some of them that you are already in discussion with.
Yes.
How do you see 2025 and beyond in terms of partnership for sustainable achievements of the set objectives of Galaxy Backbone in Nigeria?
I would say 2025 would be much better. We have quite a number of private partners in the pipeline that are wanting to come on board and collaborate to deepen broadband penetration, to improve digital transformation, and to ensure that the digital economy contributes more to the GDP. Currently, the digital economy contributes close to 15% to GDP, and we're hoping we can actually do better with the support of our partners and our customers in 2025.
Then how do you see the future of Galaxy Backbone in meeting the ever-increasing demands for ICT services to achieve the required penetration? The system is eager. Nigerians, especially the Gen Zs, are eager to see how they can be able to utilize the ICT war to be able to gain not only the social services, but also resources.
Yes, and that's very true. When we started at Galaxy Backbone, we used to talk about just connectivity. Now we're talking of digital solutions, not just digital connectivity, and that's very important. So we have the infrastructure to support. We would always need to expand, and we have plans in our strategic plan to ensure that we make provision for upgrading our infrastructure as time goes on, to ensure that we can accommodate the increased interest in digital transformation. And thank you to the President for supporting us. We're hoping we'll continue to get more funds to propagate digital transformation and ensure that all MDAs and businesses are enabled digitally.
Then looking at African perspective in terms of interconnectivity, you are a professor of computer engineering, and you are an international person in terms of AI and all the variables that are in the ICT world.
Okay.
How do you see Africa in the next 10, 15 years in trying to place itself? Nigeria is competing with Kenya. Kenya is competing with South Africa. Egypt is there also. Even within West Africa, Senegal, Ghana are also in this world, especially on these startups that the Gen Zs, the youth, are keen into. How do you see the future of Africa?
I would say the first thing is that the future of Africa is very bright. And why do I say that? Africa has a lot of useful population. If you take Nigeria, for example, we have if I'm not mistaken, close to 40% of youths, if not more, 60% of youths. And that's a strength we need to harness. There's also the ACT-FAR policy that's supposed to encourage free trade within Africa. But the truth is, what we need to do more is to have more of collaboration than competition within Africa. A lot of times, we tend to have more trade with outside Africa than intra-Africa. And I think our leaders are trying their best to improve and encourage more intra-trade within Africa, and to ensure that the advantage of that youthful population is being used to improve the economy. So I'll say in the next 15 to 20 years, Africa would be not just a world power, but a digital world power based on the resources we have and based on the youthful population.
Looking at the opportunities given by African Union and African nations when they signed the ACT-FAR, how useful has it been in trying to mobilize the ICT world? You see, this time, even trading is doing through the ICT system. You can trade, it can be supplied, it can be received. So then how do you see that opportunity being utilized by the AFTA in terms of meeting off with real needs of the people in Africa?
In truth, it's about implementation of some of these policies. We have a lot of good policies, but the implementation might not be as good as we want it. The world is a global village, and because of our youthful population, so usually I take the example of India. India is moving from being a developing nation to a developed nation because it has been able to harness the population. So we need to be intentional about building capacity in terms of technology and ensuring that that capacity counts. Thank God we have quite a few unicorns from Africa and even from Nigeria. And in terms of the technology sector, you have companies like MoneyPoint, the fintechs. You have a lot of fintechs coming up within Nigeria and Africa. And that itself, it's about building capacity and ensuring that we have that aspect of Africans using technologies that are made in Africa. And I think that would help in improving our chances.
Lastly, what do you tell your partner and somebody who benefit from your services as you plan towards 2025?
Yes, on behalf of Galaxy Backbone, we'd like to thank our partners and our customers for the businesses in 2024. And we want to assure them that we would continue to try our best to give better service and improve service in 2025. We want to say that we remain the digital backbone of not just the federal government, but the state government as well as businesses. At Galaxy Backbone, we are an enabler of digital services. We are a platform for digital services, and we also aggregate digital services within the public sector. So I want to say thank you, and I'm wishing all of us a better 2025 than 2024.
Listeners and viewers, this is where we end this edition of In the News. We've been speaking on the digital platform with the MD, Managing Director, Galaxy Backbone in Nigeria. Professor Ibrahim Adeyanju is a professor of computer engineering with fellowship and interest with proficiency in AI, machine learning, data mining, genetic algorithm, and many more. Sir, thank you very much for coming to Voice of Nigeria.
Thank you, Madam Aliyu. I really appreciate the time.
Listeners, you can continue to listen to Voice of Nigeria through www.von.gov.ng. You can also listen to Voice of Nigeria on Simple Radio, Radio Guardian, and TuneIn Radio. I am Ali Othman. Thank you and bye, and Happy New Year.